everyone. Welcome. Let's go ahead and begin our evening with a prayer. You're invited to pray in the words of your own heart or responsively with me. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, saints and sages of all religions, bless this day, this school community. Help it to always be a place of joy, of expanding consciousness, of living wisdom. Bless this group of students, their families, and bless all who come here in future. Om. Peace. Amen. Welcome, everyone. This is the fourth graduation of Living Wisdom High School and the culmination of our 6th year. This evening, as many of you already know, we will be conducting a quality ceremony, and this ritual, this tradition, so beautifully encapsulates what living wisdom is, what its essence is, because the school is really a place committed to the cultivation of higher consciousness. What does that mean? Well, we work with and help students to develop all of the inner qualities and skills that help them to live in ways that bring about lasting and deep and true happiness. We invite them to seek truth, to cultivate courage, to step into themselves authentically, and to share the joy that is inside of them and is perpetually awakening with everyone that they meet, so that not only is their life blessed by that which flows through them, but everyone who they come in contact with is also touched by that beauty and that light and that joy. What you'll hear today are each of our students coming up and sharing with you a quality that they have cultivated this year. They'll give a speech about it, what it means to them, how it's lived through them, others who have practiced it and they have drawn inspiration from. These qualities are alive in all of us to varying degrees and different ways. And sometimes these qualities flow through us effortlessly. And sometimes we work very hard to cultivate them. Sometimes we don't even see them in ourselves until it's pointed out to us. And so this ceremony is not only a beautiful way to end the year, but it's actually a core part of our curriculum, because we want students to see themselves not just at a surface level, but to be diving deeper and deeper every year, every day, into seeing the very best that is in them. And just like we water a plant and give it light, we want those qualities to also grow and blossom and shine forth. So you will hear from their own words what these qualities mean to them, how they live them, and why they're important. We also have several performances for you, which we're very eager to share. And we'll culminate the evening with our graduation. We're celebrating 5 extraordinary young people who have completed their high school studies and are graduating tonight. That will be the last part of our ceremony. I'm going to ask everyone before we begin to double check your cell phones, make sure that they're set to silent. I also want to invite anyone who's in the back, if you're already feeling a little warm, there's some seats up front. Feel free to relocate, come up closer if you wish. Okay. And without further ado, I'm going to ask Teacher Shanti to take the stage. She'll be introducing our freshman class.
Ada Kovtuna. Ada, this year Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of determination.
Thank you, Shanti. When I think of the future, I often find myself imagining the type of person I want to be. Strong, capable, successful, organized, and happy are all qualities that come to mind. But to successfully manifest all of these qualities in myself, I have to embrace a certain underlying quality: determination. What does determination have to do with being capable or organized? We all have to have some level of determination on a day-to-day basis to be successful, to resist breaking under the strain of everyday life. Determination ought to be more than just merely proceeding through daily activities in a blind and monotonous manner, since that hardly requires any real effort and rarely leads to true success. In my eyes, I see it as active perseverance through difficult tasks with a healthy dose of effort and conscious application of willpower. Let me give you an example. This year, I had to take biology as one of my classes. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, it's just another class. What's the big deal? You see, biology and I are not best friends. Far from it. I am just not a biology girl. But with effort and willpower, I started to take a liking towards it, even learning about kinesiology and the science of movement, which has become one of my favorite things that I've learned this year. This past year, a lot of big changes came into my life. I started high school, began to play piano seriously, and most importantly, returned to competitive figure skating after a 3-year absence. There was a lot to juggle at the beginning of the year, and I often found myself lacking the motivation to continue. As I struggled to balance homework, music, and the rigorous training necessary to bring me up to a higher level of skill on the ice, I often felt discouraged, especially as I didn't see the progress I had hoped for. But I didn't give up, training, practicing, and studying as much as I could, and soon I began to see the improvement that I so desperately desired. Although I often struggled with discouragement and fear of failure, it was determination that pushed me through. Even when I couldn't feel it, it was always there, under the surface, guiding me, helping me first to survive, then to grow, and now thrive.
Congratulations, Ada. Alice Koval. Alice, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of strength.
Thank you, Shanti. This year has been a year of dedication, discipline, and endurance. I put in as much effort as I possibly could in my academics, sports, and personal life. To the disappointment of my mother, if that meant staying up late, then I did. This year I've built strength by facing the obstacles that life gives me. I've built emotional strength by facing the rigors of new academic challenges. I've built physical strength through grit and willingness to face discomfort and pain. I've also learned to combine patience and intelligence with my competitive nature. I'm happy that I faced all my challenges this year because I've grown as a person. A year ago, I wasn't as confident as I am today. Now I know that I can overcome whatever comes next.
Congratulations, Alice. Shreya Tiwari. Shreya, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your quality of self-expression.
Thank you, Shanti. Communicating your individuality, self-expression, social integration, life satisfaction, public expression, and an aspiration to freedom, self-expression. Sometimes people have a lot to say, but are unable to convey their truth. Their inability is not from a lack of feeling, rather from lack of expression. I've experienced that block before. Everyone has. I've dealt with it while writing this speech, while pushing through almost every piece of art I've created. That's what helped me cultivate this quality through these years, the fact that I've had to fight for it. I wouldn't have been comfortable sharing my true feelings or opinions a few years ago, but now I do so with a newfound freedom from doubt that I've never experienced before. In reality, I've always had it in me, and I'm sure that others have too. All it comes down to is the way you let creativity flow through your being, the way you battle with your larynx against self-doubt, deprivation of words, and the struggle to converse. Many people succumb to these negative emotions. They hang on to being not good enough, shutting out the ones who love them. They decide to cut off any communication in an attempt to protect themselves, chasing a false sense of safety. But this proves to be self-degrading, because in cutting others out, we obstruct our opportunity to share. I've struggled through all of this, and I've found that I prefer to let the seeds of my creativity blossom in the soil of generosity, rather than watching them wither in the desert sands of fear. People may have different opinions, thoughts, or feelings, but that shouldn't change the way I express myself. I was told that self-expression is what allows us to channel deeper relationships, whatever type they may be. Self-expression allows us to stand up for what we believe in. Self-expression allows us to shine through the world, inspiring others to do the same. Thank you.
Congratulations, Rhea. I'd now like to welcome Mandana to the stage, who will be presenting the sophomore class.
Layla McClure. Layla, this year Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of inner strength.
Thank you, Mandana. When I thought of strength, the person who first came to my mind was Samson. He was a judge in the Bible who ripped a lion in half with his bare hands. And we don't have much in common, so I looked to another judge who I do relate to, Gideon. Gideon was cowering in a wine press, or a ditch in the ground, when an angel proclaimed, "Mighty hero, the Lord is with thee," and ordered Gideon to free the Israelites. Gideon cried, "How can I save Israel?" His clan was the weakest, and he himself was the weakest of his clan. Finally, a mighty hero like me. But despite his doubts and fears, Gideon did free the Israelites. Moreover, his humility was what made him a wise leader after victory. After the battle, a group of warriors felt insulted that they weren't called to participate. Gideon responded, "What have I accomplished compared to you? Aren't the leftover grapes of your harvest better than the entire crop of my little clan?" Through being aware of his own insignificance, Gideon dismissed the conflict, and ultimately, he preserved peace for over 40 years. I misunderstood inner strength to be like Samson's stoicism and confidence. Yet, Kashama doesn't measure inner strength by how many tears I can hold back, nor Keshava and Hazi by how many decibels I can project over a crowd. They showed me that, like Gideon, my inner strength ironically lies in humility and sensitivity. Kashama and Hazi see that it takes honesty to accept my flaws. Keshava has shown me that it takes hope to then believe I can grow. Every day, my friends gather the courage it takes to turn acknowledging my shortcomings into enthusiasm for learning. It took every person within my loving and insightful community at Living Wisdom to help me realize the quality of inner strength within my meekness. Thank you to everyone.
Jesus Press. Annie, this year Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of generosity of heart.
Thank you, Mandana. One day, a friend and I were in an after-school study hall, and she was struggling to start her biology homework. The book is dense, and the note-taking makes it even worse, so I offered to help her. Come on, I said. You highlight, I'll type the notes. And with that, we were off. Unfortunately, she could read and highlight much faster than I could type. And so I was madly tapping on the keyboard for dear life and trying to keep up and making an offensive amount of spelling errors. My friend happened to look over at the computer. The sheer amount of red underlines on words was immense. We tried reading some of the abominations of sentences I had made. I had mistakenly created several new words that probably should never have been brought into this world. She crowned me the new Shakespeare. We were laughing so much that Keshava had to come over and make sure we weren't up to any mischief. It was such a joyful afternoon. I was grinning from ear to ear the entire time and almost cried laughing. I'd never thought that doing homework could be so much fun. There was nowhere I'd rather be. That feeling of joy stayed with me through the rest of the day. It was alive inside me. Every time I remember that afternoon, a smile is instantly put on my face. It's not only the jokes that we shared, but that I was able to help her find laughter and happiness in something that she would normally find loathsome. It made me so happy to be able to share in that joy and give it to someone else. That's what generosity is. Being able to give and receive joy from giving. To give with no expectation of anything in return. Isn't that wonderful? Wouldn't it be lovely if we all lived more like that? It is not something we have to wish for, though. We can cultivate this quality and make that dream a reality. The world would be such a joyful place, and I will strive to help create it. I will continue to practice generosity so I can be more joyful and share that joy with others. Thank you.
Ethan Guire. Ethan, this year Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of appreciation of beauty.
Thank you, Mandana. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm listening to the Adam Ragusa podcast on my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I think to myself, what is the meaning of all this? Why am I here? While staring at the void of my blank ceiling. Maybe this whole thing is a simulation. Maybe we really did come from a primordial soup struck by lightning. Maybe life has no meaning. And if it does, one's life could still easily turn into a dopamine fest of Doritos and Fortnite to no end, until it actually ends and you wish you could have appreciated it more. Well, hold it right there, nihilism. Because how could lightning, or simulations, or Doritos come up with something as varied and magnificent as this life we have? How could randomness have arrived at the wonders of this world, of the human spirit? How could the universe have stumbled upon something as awe-inspiring as beauty? But what is beauty? It's those moments when you genuinely connect with people and have an experience of sharing joy. It's swimming in the ocean during winter when the sun is setting, and plunging headfirst into the waters in spite of frigid temperatures. It's going to Italy and realizing that architecture can actually be inspiring and that cities don't have to be ugly lumps of steel and glass. It's the movement which melody plays upon your heart when you hear it. It's bringing levity and joy into the world through theater. Beauty is anything that stimulates the soul. There is no beauty without life, and no life without beauty. Beauty is everywhere. In people, in good humor, in nature, in music, and in you and me. To truly be a beautiful person is to find beauty within yourself. To find it inside yourself is to find it everywhere. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ethan. Nicholas Mernew. Nicholas, this year Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of purity of heart.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. As you just heard, my name is Nick. You might not know this, but this is my first year at Living Wisdom High School. It's actually my first 6 months. That also means that this is my first quality ceremony. And when I found out about the tradition, I was really excited. I thought it was going to be super fun. But more than that, I thought it was going to be easy. So, when I was given the quality of purity of heart, I was pretty stumped. The first real thought that came to my mind was a Disney princess, Snow White. Yeah, so it's pretty it's pretty fair to say I was off to a very rocky start. But I kept thinking, and soon another person who exemplified this quality came to mind. The man I had the honor of portraying in a recent school production, St. Francis. He had love for everybody, everything. He was incredibly selfless. He knew what was right in his heart, and he could see the beauty everywhere in the world. To me, St. Francis is truly somebody who embodies purity of heart. As I continued to think, I stopped myself. How could I be pure of heart if I've done so much wrong? I paused for some time, and eventually I came to the conclusion that I'm probably more pure of heart because of what I've learned from those past experiences. Not because I did something wrong or I made a mistake, but because I realized I didn't want that life. I didn't want a life in the darkness. I wanted a life in the light. And with that realization, my heart pulled me here, to a place where light seems to grow and thrive. Here, at Living Wisdom, I have been able to see a greater beauty, a greater brightness than ever before. But it wouldn't have been possible without the others, all the others here, shining their light and guiding us all to new heights. And that's what I've discovered. Purity of heart isn't about me. It's about other people. My purity of heart was only able to grow and thrive because of the people I surrounded myself with here. My purity of heart was only able to grow and thrive because of the people here who showed me nothing but love and kindness. My hope for the future is to be able to pass on that same love and kindness to whoever I meet along the way. Not for my own purity of heart, not to make myself better, but to help them see the beauty of the light. I'll end this speech with a poem. This world is filled with darkness, scary things I can't understand. It makes me want to run away, hide in some fairy tale land. But I'll keep my eyes open, keep looking out ahead. Because this world is filled with darkness, I'll look for the light instead. Thank you.
And now I invite Keshava to come to the stage, please.
Arseny Dubovkin. Living Wisdom honors you this year for your expression of the quality of sincerity.
Thank you, Keshava. This year started off like any other year, differently. Different classes, different students, different me. We all change as time passes into better versions of ourselves, learning from the past us, applying to the now us, improving. Gosh, if you only knew me in 9th grade. The spirit of adventure was getting me into all kinds of predicaments back in the day. I was set on doing what I believed, and whatever it was, it would have been right in my eyes. Then, 10th grade. Slowly I became more receptive, more willing to consider new suggestions and ideas. After taking these into account, I began to notice, no way, these people are talking sense. I started to improve upon myself, albeit unknowingly, a change undoubtedly witnessed by the larger community but hidden from my sight. I can't ever remember being this open and truthful about my path towards self-improvement. I rarely look back and be sincere, yet here I am, 11th grade, admitting that I have changed. Sincerity allows us to reflect on our journey and acknowledge our growth. It opens the door to self-awareness and humility, honesty and transparency. But what is the world without that door? Without the key of sincerity? A world plagued by distrust and deception. Relationships would be shallow and superficial, lacking the depth that comes from genuine connection. Without sincerity, our actions would lose their authenticity and our words would ring hollow. Its absence will foster loneliness, build a world devoid of connections, and hinder personal growth. Life is often saturated with facades and pretenses. A moment of sincerity stands out like a bright flame. Its light brings clarity to our intentions and motives, showing others that we are trustworthy and true to ourselves. It enables us to speak our minds with honesty and integrity, even when the words are heavy and the truth uncomfortable or difficult to tell. As I continue on my journey, I will carry the torch of sincerity. I will remain open to learning, embrace new perspectives, and try to stay true to myself. Sincerity is an integral part of who I am, and it is my job to bring out the best in me. Thank you.
Congratulations, Arsenic.
Thank you.
Carter Baginskis. This year, Living Wisdom honors you for your expression of the quality will.
Thank you, Keshava.
In truth, this process has been very difficult. When I began considering the quality of will, it felt very distant and foreign, a quality only expressed while in the face of adversity. I was invited to explore what the quality of will looks like in my own life, both during times of challenge and also during experiences of flow. I began seeing it had two different aspects: willpower and willingness. Will has been defined as a desire plus energy directed toward fulfillment. I feel this flow of energy in my makerspace. At times, nothing is working, and it's very frustrating. I have to force my way through it in order to do whatever project I've taken on. At other times, ideas come, and I know instinctively how to go about manifesting them. I feel a spontaneous uprising of joyful willingness to engage with the task at hand. Willingness and willpower weave together on my morning bike rides. I'm up and out of the house early. It takes a push of inner determination to get myself going and persevere through the toughest parts of the ride. The results are a physical exhaustion and a euphoria of post-exercise high. It is strange, as I think about it, no part of the ride is all that enjoyable. Getting up early, struggling through a grueling workout, and then the sweaty afterglow. And yet, sweet wheels keep on turning. There are times when I struggle with willpower or responding willingly to what life is asking of me. I have struggled to know how to activate my own will at times, and I'm still learning to do this. At Living Wisdom, I've been encouraged to consider the ideas that I can control my own will, activating it on demand to accomplish things that otherwise seem impossible. The past 6 months have brought about a large transformation in my own life. Stepping into a new school community, building and rebuilding skills, and re-engaging with life dynamically. I've drawn on the qualities of will to support and inspire our basketball team to victory, and then navigate through Europe on a broken ankle. And to work collaboratively with my peers and friends on projects such as the yearbook or creating the set for our San Francesco production. I'm learning to find strength within while also being open to the support from my teachers and family. I'm learning that the qualities of will are not reserved for those of heroic endeavors, but growing in all of us in the smallest of moments. Going forward in life, I'm exploring having dynamic will in moments of struggle and celebrating the effortless flow of energy that pours through me.
We'll find it eventually. Christopher de Jesus Perez. This year, Living Wisdom honors you for your expression of charm and magnetism.
Thank you. What do you think of when you think of charm? Well, whatever you thought of, you're wrong. Because it's me. Apparently so, at least. So when I heard that, I was pretty happy. Then I began to ponder. Why? Why do I embody charm? I really thought about it, and eventually what came to me was a memory. Our last night in Florence. The teachers had cut us loose, and I was on the prowl for a souvenir. But alas, to no avail. We had countless shops, and nothing really caught my eye. Until, finally, we were heading back to the hotel, and we passed a street vendor. I decided to stop by. That's when I saw it. It wasn't special. A small clay model of a building in Florence. But something about it was familiar. It looked good, felt good, and it connected to me. It was like part of a long forgotten memory. And I think that's what charm is. I think it's being able to relate to someone or something on a personal level engagingly. And this community makes that so easy because we all just want to share our passions. We all just want to know more about each other. So I don't think I charmed anyone. I think this community allowed me to charm them. And with charm comes magnetism. Though I think I was the one magnetized to every little activity, every quirk, every aspect of this community. So thank you for that.
Now I'll invite Azamar.
Jay Iyer. Jay, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of adventurousness.
Thank you, Hazi. Love of beauty, love of knowledge, love of wealth. All of these things motivate people to be adventurous. During our trip to Italy, when the teachers cut us loose in Assisi, it was a different kind of love that motivated me to explore. Love of selfies. I jetted off into the cobbled streets of Assisi, hoping to catch a selfie with the patron saint of computer science. Adventurousness is strange, though. It's like a seed. You plant it in a safe and sunny space with enough water, and before you know it, it'll grow into a tree much larger than you ever expected. A desire arose within me to see the city in its entirety. I resolved to make my way to the Rocca Maggiore, the fort perched at the top of Assisi. Along the way, adventurousness must be watered with curiosity. Without it, adventurousness lacks the impetus to sprout. It also requires bravery, the courage to explore the world, thirsty for understanding, unafraid of what you might discover. While it's obvious that Indiana Jones is adventurous, you don't need to swing through pits of vipers or explore jungles. Scientists are adventurous. Einstein, who trailblazed into unknown scientific territory and uprooted our understanding of the world, was adventurous. Saints, who explore the inner landscape, probing their most fundamental beliefs with burning impartiality, are extremely adventurous. It is adventurous to be honest, knowing that you might be wrong. It is adventurous to be open to new beliefs. It is adventurous to be sincere, not trying to hide yourself in humor or feigned apathy. Truth-seeking is an adventure which puts both your self-identity and your pride in peril. Education is an adventure to discover your full potential. Oftentimes, adventure leads to something new and beautiful, whether that be truth, treasure, or just a joyful moment. Sometimes, all it is pointing at a high place and saying, "I want to go there." Other times, it's hearing a train horn and wondering, where did that sound come from? I reach the Rocca Maggiore and sit down, gazing at the panoramic view of Assisi. The pinkish stone of the buildings shimmers in the sunlight. The Basilica of St. Francis stands tall and devotional, a testament to man's capacity for joy and complete renunciation. The Italian countryside rolls into the horizon, fading from green to blue. A small stray cat peacefully walks by. I smile. I don't need a selfie here. No. Some moments are more beautiful left uncaptured. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jay. Juliana Hawley could not be here to receive her certificate, but she is being honored for her expression of love of wisdom. Krishav Gandhi. Krishav, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of nobility.
Thank you, Hazi. When you hear the word nobility, you may think of princes and high castles and brave knights. I am clearly neither of these things, but for some reason I still receive this quality. So what actually makes someone have nobility? When I think of a noble character, my first thought is Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. I don't think anyone can argue with me that he is a noble character, but why is he noble? A couple of quick answers, such as bravery, strength, and courage, come to mind. Those are all true, but nobility goes deeper than that. Part of what makes Aragorn such a strong character is not just that he is able to wield a sword well, or that he can stand strong in the face of danger. It is his ability to be heartfelt and sincere. He has a respect for all creatures, and is probably the only character who is loved by all, elves, dwarves, and humans alike, excluding the orcs, of course. He has a duality of strength and softness, a balance held precariously on the tip of a sword, held in place by his control. Earlier this year, I performed a scene from Macbeth, and I played Malcolm, the Prince of Scotland. Through reading the play, you can tell that he also has a noble character. Part of my work of playing the role was to try and emulate him, to become him. Through my imagination work, I discovered that he is mature and calm. He thinks before he speaks, walks with an air of confidence, but knows his own limits. He is intelligent, but not boastful, and is kind, but firm. There is a balance he holds. With each quality, not going too far in one direction, a balance held with self-control. Nobility isn't a single quality, but rather a combined representation of many qualities, carefully intertwined together through self-control. This is something I have been cultivating over the past year, both actively and subconsciously. Now, I am able to combine many strong qualities such as maturity, self-confidence, play, kindness, and hard work. I have not perfected any of these qualities, but I've already grown a lot in my nobility, and I will continue to do so for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Congratulations, Krishav.
Thank you.
Olivia Cruz. Olivia, Living Wisdom High School honors you for your expression of initiative.
Initiative. the ability to choose one's own path. It took me some time to deepen my understanding of this quality and what it truly meant, but after some time, here's what I have come to. Coming to Living Wisdom was a decision made by my own initiative. In the process of choosing a school, I was lost within everyone's opinions except my own. My friends hoped I would come back to my former high school, while others attempted to persuade me into something different. Not many people asked what I wanted, and all I wanted was the ability to freely choose what I felt was best for me. I wanted to be given the trust that I knew what was in my best interest. In the end, I chose Living Wisdom and could not be happier that I am here. After reflecting on my quality, I learned that I cannot just go along with what isn't right for me. I must not be afraid to do what my heart is saying. I must trust myself. That is what initiative means to me. But I couldn't have come to this conclusion on my own. So I would like to thank our senior class, specifically Anna, for showing me how to take initiative with using my voice. Audie, for showing me initiative through friendship. Kevin, for showing me what initiative looks like through humor. Vince, for showing me how to take initiative with genuine care and a smile. And Emma, for showing me initiative to be myself. I never knew that being a part of this community, I would find my chosen family. Thank you.
Other mic. Can you open the teacher's mic for a second?
Open both mics, yeah. Next will be a performance on the guitar by Adi Wu, and then the school will come up for a song. And is Adi, you want to share?
Hi everyone. I'm going to be performing an original piece called Falseta Propia por Fandangos. And I couldn't have done it without the help of my guitar teacher Bruno, who's sitting in the audience. He's helped me a lot in... There we go. He's helped me a lot in composing and refining this piece. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Do you need a music stand? Oh, she's okay.
Okay, we come to the latter part of the evening, but before we enter into the graduation ceremony, I just want to take a moment and really recognize all of the people who contribute to make what you're seeing today possible. And first, I want to acknowledge the parents. Families, will you stand up? incredible love and dedication day in and day out has nurtured these young people into who they are today. And thank you for partnering with us as a school to also support their growth. So, congratulations. There are also countless people within the larger community who contribute to Living Wisdom, volunteers, assistant teachers, mentors that are behind the scenes. Sometimes the students know them, sometimes not. But if you've contributed in any way to Living Wisdom High School this year, again, we just stand. There are many of you. People are being shy. Thank you. And bless you. And our seniors also would like to acknowledge our teachers. So if you are a teacher, can you come up, please? Bruno. There are these extraordinary souls and many more who teach and support the students, but this is a labor of love, and I know we all feel deeply committed to the mission and purpose behind Living Wisdom School, but really just a moment to acknowledge their effort and their care and their guidance that is bringing out so much wisdom and light in all of the students. So thank you, we love you, we're grateful for you.
Okay, there's some extras. Can double down. Here, Kevin, Vince, come over. Here, give Shaman a
Okay, you guys can go ahead and take a seat. We now come to our graduation ceremony. And we begin with Anna Crespo-Reed. Anna began her journey with Living Wisdom in pre-kindergarten. After 2 years, she relocated and her life unfolded with many twists and turns until early in her junior year, she found her way home again to Living Wisdom. Anna's brightness of spirit and thirst for wisdom and joy has catalyzed a rapid renaissance within the Living Wisdom student community. In her senior year, she began studying Education for Life and has been an intern in 2 Education for Life school programs, including our elementary and middle school. She's also immersed herself in the study of Raja Yoga, and following our service adventure trip to Italy, she has been inspired to create for herself a gap year at the Ananda Assisi Retreat Center in central Italy. Anna graduates today with honors, and following her gap year, her intention is to continue her studies at Dharma Realm Buddhist University. Congratulations, Anna.
One of the many gifts the school has given me is a reawakening of my curiosity. And that curiosity is inextricably linked with my devotion. My amazing teachers have awakened my desire to know and understand many aspects of this world. Now I find myself reading with great interest about yoga, economics, and much more. I want to experience God through the many aspects of His world. I want to see God in music, in poetry, in nature, in everything, even in my own reason. I am infinitely lucky to have been taught how to think. How to question things and be impartial, how to make truth my pole star. I may fail often, I may fail publicly, brutally, and regularly, but I now have clarity in my aspirations. Another gift I've received here is joy. I love walking into school in the mornings and seeing Shama dusting and organizing, Keshava walking the hallways, singing beautifully. Hazi absorbed in thought with various books cradled under his arm. I feel so safe here. We slowly rediscover what it's like to be here every single day. We comfortably settle into our routine. Laughter is everywhere, spirited conversation, music. Those are the resounding sounds of living wisdom. Sometimes, Keshava will be weightlifting in a corner, while Layla and Adi are playing guitar. Chris talks about stocks, and Emma talks about the latest book she found around the corner. Other times, Keshava teaches astrology while Olivia boxes with Vince in the backyard, and Nick watches them while he nestles his beloved plants into the ground. Kshama and I are having a serious conversation, and outside of her office, I hear Ethan doing his outrageous southern accent while Jay laughs loudly. Kevin attempts to make an instrument out of every single item he comes across. Alice makes jewelry opposite of Juliana, who's stretching. Shreya sings while Annie studies. Carter listens to one of Keshava's classic stories, and Ada prances around them. Who knows what Krishav and Arseny are doing if they're not coding? And no, they're coding, but they're so happy about it. Our flow here is individual, unique, and it contributes so much to the school. There's so much joy expressed in so many ways. The voices, the music, the art. I see God in all of them, in all of us, in what we share. God knows how loved He is here, and I think He comes to visit sometimes. I'm home, and I hope many others will find home here. Of course, my experience here would not have been possible without my mother. Thank you for risking your life and teaching me to drive stick shift in San Jose. I think we should both thank God for our lives because there were so many near misses. Thank you for loving me at my worst as you do at my best. Thank you for your laugh. Thank you for unfailingly supporting me. I hope I'm able to share with the whole world the blessings that I've received here. I hope I share my love with many and find a way to serve. I hope I can serve as well as my wonderful teachers have. I'd like to read one of my favorite poems by Hafiz that encapsulates the lightness and joy I want to share with all. The earth lifts its glass to the sun, and light is poured. A bird comes and sits on a crystal rim, and from my forest cave I hear singing. So I run to the edge of existence, and I join my soul in love. I lift my heart to God, and grace is poured. An emerald bird rises from inside me, and now sits upon the beloved's glass. I have left that dark cave forever. My body has blended with his. I lay my wing as a bridge to you, so that you can join us singing. Thank you.
Make sure I have the right ones here. Vincent Calberrigan. Vince came into the Living Wisdom School family in kindergarten. And aside from a 1.5-year long hiatus at the beginning of high school, he has been here throughout. A very special facet of this long journey for me is that I not only have had the privilege of being one of his mentors in his final years of high school, I was also his first and second grade teacher. Vince has always had a heart as big as the sky. And as he has grown, he's married to that inner radiance, a strength that manifests through growing initiative and responsibility. This year, in fact, we are honoring Vince for his cultivation of responsibility, a quality that will serve him well in his next chapter. An anime enthusiast, as you can see. You want to turn around, give it a spin? There we go. He has a deep love for Japanese culture. He has also brought dedication to his training in karate and performing arts, so much so that he intends to major in theater when he attends Lynn University this fall. Congratulations, Vince.
My journey throughout high school has been a long but very meaningful one. I learned so much these past 4 years, some of which I didn't even think was possible. I started my journey at Summit Everest High School after leaving Living Wisdom at the end of 8th grade. It was a very interesting experience and really opened my eyes to a completely different side of the world. My whole life had always been in a place where everyone got along and was able to get to know each other on a deeper level. But I had never known anything outside of that. Going to Everest for the first time was scary. I knew no one, and I really didn't know what to expect. I was shocked when I found out the world was not how I'd imagined it. There, I had to be vigilant and really learn how to understand who people really were. I did this by observing and staying pretty quiet for the first few months. While I was there, I learned to develop a very useful skill. I learned to read certain aspects of people by a feeling I received from their energy. Sure enough, I was right, in almost every instance. Many of the people I had met were not good people to be around. I spent a year and a half at Everest and then came back to Living Wisdom. Now I am so happy I am here. But things weren't so easy when I first arrived. I didn't have any motivation and I just didn't care about school. However, with the help of Hazi, Mandana, Shama, Shanti, Ekavir, and Keshava, I was able to regain my motivation and willingness to succeed. This year was completely different from any of my previous years. I stepped up to much greater responsibilities than I ever had before. I dedicated myself to getting my work done and doing it on time. I started to help younger students at my karate dojo. I began completing tasks at home that I used to rely on my parents to complete. Because of my effort, I was able to have more free time to explore Japanese culture. Taking my responsibilities also made me feel really good. What I have practiced will be essential to continue to develop over the next stage of my life. I am grateful for everything I have learned here at Living Wisdom, starting from kindergarten until senior year. I have been able to benefit from all the breathing techniques I have learned over the years. At Living Wisdom, we have learned how to stay calm when things are hard, to choose to think positively, and to say yes to life even when things seem impossible. I will carry every memory and every lesson I have received over the years, and always cherish the many friendships I have made with my teachers and peers. My final message to my peers is something I am trying to learn myself. Have the courage to carry forward your ideals. That's how we learn who we really are, and find out what's truly right or wrong. These 4 years have been filled with many great lessons and so many joyful moments. I would not change anything about my high school life. I appreciate everyone that has helped me along the way, and I can't wait to begin my journey at Lynn University.
Congratulations, Vince.
Kevin Luo. Kevin is something of a Renaissance man. Immensely curious and knowledgeable about, well, everything, actually. He loves to not only contemplate, but to create. He is a scientist, an athlete, a mathematician, and we've also recently discovered that he is quite the actor and singer. His classmates, recognizing his prowess across so many diverse facets of life, have aptly dubbed him the apex predator. Whether running alongside his friends as they bike the Baylands, or designing paper models to demonstrate his latest graph theory problems in math. Maybe it wasn't graph theory, I'm not sure what it was. Kevin loves to challenge himself and to give himself fully to life and learning. This year, we're honoring Kevin in his quality of wit. Kevin is graduating from Living Wisdom High School with honors, and he will be attending Oxford College at Emory University next year. Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you, Kashama. Last week in math class, Hazi taught us about vector fields. A vector field is a mapping of each point in the Euclidean space to another, or assigning to each point a vector with magnitude and direction. An integral is taken by tracing a curve along the flow defined by the vector field, where each vector is tangent to the curve. And taking the dual space of the vector field yields differential K-forms. I know, fascinating. It all made sense when Hazi started drawing arrows on the board, shaping the contours of a surface. This, Hazi explained, is an ocean filled with currents going this way and that. If you drop a boat anywhere on the surface, you can track its motion over time, wherever the ocean takes it. If I put it over here, it goes spiraling into this huge maelstrom with a voracious sea monster in the middle. But if we move it just slightly to the left, it goes flying off into infinity. I pictured myself as this rowboat, bobbing up and down among glimmering waves, with seagulls cawing and swooping above, the glistening sea, waves in a vast sea. Suddenly, a great gust pushes my boat onto its side, and the choppy waves grow into swells. With a great rumble, a downburst of rain merges air and water into one. After a long night, I emerge from the other side, miraculously unscathed by the storm. But alongside me were other ocean goers, and we were all caught in a brisk current carrying us swiftly north. This ocean current was Living Wisdom High School. Whether by choice, chance, or fate, we were all in the same boat, riding this current together. At first, I reluctantly let this flow carry me along, but as time went on, I grew to love the little quirk that everyone had. From Audie lumbering up to the whiteboard in my math class to explain his sudden epiphany, to Chris promoting the latest, hottest IT stock, from Emma's long contemplative walks, to Ada's fascination with airplanes, to Nick teaching me which flowers to eat in the garden. We learned to work together through numerous challenges, and I was surprised at how quickly new students seemed to fit in perfectly. Keshava once told a story about how, when rowing in a group, he pulled the oars so hard that the boat almost capsized. Our school was like a rowing team, and our oar strokes were becoming more efficient in sync. Similarly, our basketball team went from a few straggling teenagers to a well-coordinated effort, with each of us discovering our strengths and moves to work on. So did other sports flourish. like rock climbing, which Arseny convinced me to join, volleyball, and tennis during snack break. During PE, Keshava even threw me heels over head while wrestling. But I'm the only person to boast a left-handed win in arm wrestling against him. With the help of many, we organized a trip to Italy to experience a vastly different culture and to roam the cobblestone streets through historical sites I had only read about. We climbed snowy mountains together and swam icy alpine lakes. Thank you, friends, for all the camaraderie and fun times. In Grathery, I learned from Ahazi the art of logical proofs and asking interesting questions. In English, we analyzed Gilgamesh and debated free will. In Mondana's classes, we made films about a magical pencil and learned how to file taxes and choose health insurance. In Shanti's classes, we did everything from invent creation myths based on world religions to performing oil changes and knitting. In Keshava's acting class, I became everything from a tree to a socially awkward penguin to the warrior Macduff and Saint Francis. We created worlds from our imagination. During mentorship, Kashama helped me reach out to others, realize the importance of organization, and taught me many valuable life lessons. Thank you, teachers, for expanding my horizons and pushing me out of my comfort zone. Thank you, my parents, for driving me to Foothill, cooking, feeding me, and making the person I am today. Friends, it would appear that our boats are now adorned with full billowing sails. The current comes to an end, and the seniors must disembark and explore new, far-away lands. I know some of us want to plan everything out, step by step. But life is never as linear as high school algebra. Even given the chaos of our paths through life, we will eventually end up in the place we set out to find. Guided by our newly acquired compasses of clarity of thought, self-expression, open-mindedness, friendship, and countless others. It has been an amazing 2 years at Living Wisdom High School, and I wish everyone the best on their journey as we all sail into the blue sea.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Audie Wu. Audie has been at Living Wisdom since the 3rd grade, and notably he was the first middle school student to make the decision to step into our high school program 4 years ago. He has been a pioneer, adding to and benefiting from everything that Living Wisdom High School is becoming. He's a classical guitarist, as you enjoyed earlier. He's also a passionate linguist, and he's a very accomplished mathematician. Audie has dedicated himself to a rigorous course of study over the course of these 4 years. He's been celebrated as an AP Scholar with distinction, and he graduates today with honors from Living Wisdom High School. We're celebrating him this year for his expression of loyalty. Audie will attend Purdue University in the fall and intends to study engineering. Congratulations, Adi.
Thank you, Shama. I remember standing on a stage like this as a third grader, delivering a paltry 2 sentences about my first quality. Since, I've given a speech annually, with more and more to talk about as the years passed. In my 10 consecutive years at Living Wisdom, one more than Vince. This is my final chance to reflect on my time here. If I could sum up my time here at the high school in one word, it would be challenge. This is not a place where being a semi-eloquent wise guy will get you a free ticket into a triple-digit grade, nor one where any whiz kid automatically gets a get-out-of-jail-free card from hard work. Here, it's never about scores. It's about personal excellence. Indeed, academically, these past 4 years have been both the hardest and most rewarding of my entire life. In the essays I wrote, I couldn't pull out the Spark Notes, regurgitate a word salad with Thousand Island dressing and call it a day. I had to meet a high bar in terms of style, arguments, and substance. In math, I had to endure differential K-forms, Prüfer codes, and orbital mechanics. I don't even want to talk about linear algebra. Yet, challenge is also part of the environment created by the students here. Waltz into the classroom on any Tuesday, and you'll have to walk past Ada playing Rachmaninoff, Arsene doing finger pull-ups, Anna reading some Faulkner novel that even my English teacher, Hazimak, struggles through, and Jay writing an essay on ancient Greek literature 3 months in advance. Of course, Living Wisdom High School hasn't been all combinatorial topology and Plato. I'd be glossing over half of it if I didn't mention the fun. Creating drill beats in Rag Bhairav with Jay, hiking up mountains, seeing Michelangelo's sculptures in person halfway across the world, my index finger cuticle bleeding and peeling from practicing golpes. These are all memories I'll be hard-pressed to forget. As I leave to enter adulthood, I know Living Wisdom has taught me many things, some of which I know now, and some of which I won't realize for years down the line. There's a common perspective, one I'm sure you've heard as well, that when raising kids, you can either coddle them, or apply pressure until they eventually toughen up. There is a third way, however, which is challenge in an environment you can fail in. And it works. Over the year, I've seen classmates come out of their shells, get curious again, and become stronger people, physically, intellectually, and in character. This school has taught me, whether I like it or not, to be uncomfortable not doing my best. I'd like to thank my high school teachers, especially Chama, whose transformation of the school I can bear eyewitness testimony to, and Bruno, who never gave up on me, even when I forgot to practice. I'd like to thank my classmates and friends for being unabashedly weird and making the school what it is. I'd like to thank Gary and Helen, who made me grow up fast by giving me responsibilities and holding me accountable. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents for sending me to the school in the first place, and for always pushing me forward. Thank you.
Congratulations, Adi.
Our final graduate this evening, Emma Lenchenkova. Emma began her time at Living Wisdom High School as a timid and reserved freshman. She was fairly bewildered by the environment in which she found herself. Quickly, however, she discovered that this approach to life and learning, as she put it, really works. It wasn't long before she could no longer hide her joie de vivre, and we discovered her passion for everything, from creative writing to global politics to neuroscience and everything in between. She's honored with a presidential award for her perfect 1600 score on the SAT. Emma has stepped outside of her comfort zone in many ways, including to participate in a 6-week internship at the Stanford VA Hospital. She rose to the occasion this year, earning the entire sum required in order to travel to Italy. Well done. Especially of note this year is Emma's quality of friendship. She has embraced it with an open heart this year. Her bright smile, quick and witty mind, and openness of heart have touched us all. In the fall, Emma will continue her lifelong learning at the Rochester Institute of Technology, where she will study neuroscience with the intention of pursuing a medical degree. Congratulations, Emma.
When I look back at my years at Living Wisdom High School, it's difficult to pick just one favorite moment or some symbolic snapshot that could perfectly capture all of my experiences. Instead, quick flashes, like Polaroids scattered across a table, flicker through my mind. Laughing with my classmates, the same people who I've hiked with and joked with and agonized over essays with. The eureka moment when I finally understand a concept. The deep, steadying breath before diving into something completely out of my comfort zone. The awe of meeting people who I've never met before. The thought-provoking and occasionally punny class discussions. And the feeling of looking back at these past 4 years with a blend of nostalgia and pride. One word or phrase feels paltry, lacking. How could it possibly describe it all? And yet, there are undeniable threads that have resurfaced time and time again throughout my years here. Learning to love learning, for one. One example is when I first came here, I hated math. We did not get along. And yet, I went from avoiding it completely to learning to see the beauty in it, even if I still didn't understand it the first time around. This approach worked for other subjects as well, and learning can be a beautiful thing if you see it as beautiful. Joy is another common thread. Learning about it, hearing about it, and experiencing it have all been aspects of my time at Living Wisdom High School. I actually don't know of any place that would emphasize it quite so much. I found joy through what I was taught, but also through things such as service to others, music, and even academics. I never would have thought that joy could come from within, but it's a beautiful feeling. Pushing out of my comfort zone was additionally a key core of my time here. When I first came, I was a 14-year-old terrified ball of nerves, dazed and somewhat confused. But through camping trips, meeting new classmates, taking harder classes, and even performing on stage, I've grown more confident in myself as a person. To quote Keshava, saying yes and to opportunities in life only helps one grow, even if it's absolutely terrifying at first. It's easier to take steps into larger challenges, such as our trip to Italy, and to take gradually more on responsibility through school clubs or events. Friendship is the final golden strand tying it all together. I'm extremely grateful for the friendship I've experienced here over the years, and also how I've learned to become a better friend. Friendship is reaching out and growing together, and it's also being vulnerable. It's sharing the bitter moments with the sweet, talking and listening, being open and honest during life's highs and lows, and occasionally laughing at bad jokes together. I've become more comfortable with this over the years, both being on the receiving end and reaching out to build new friendships. I'm glad to say that I've learned what a beautiful thing friendship can be, and this may be one of the most valuable lessons I've received. This journey has been a long and occasionally tumultuous one, but overall I'm extraordinarily grateful. I'd like to thank my teachers for, well, teaching me quite so much, both in terms of academics and life lessons. I'd also like to thank my classmates. It would not have been the same without y'all. Lastly, I'd also like to thank my parents for caring for me, helping me grow, and sending me here. Whatever the future may hold, I'm confident that the lessons I've learned here will continue to help me grow as I embark on this next adventure of my life. Thank you.
There you go. Congratulations, Emma.
I'd like to now ask the graduating class to come to the stage. Teachers, come up and join us. Give us just a moment to assemble. So they're a very collaborative bunch, and even their attire today was a compromise and an agreement amongst themselves. This is the first time that we have cap and tassel, and so we're going to do turning of the tassel right now. Go ahead and take it from right to left. And I present you with the Living Wisdom High School class of 2023. Go ahead and gather the rose petals on either side of the stage. We'll stay here for just a moment, take a little and pass them on. And as they process out now, please join us in showering them with your love and blessings as well. Congratulations.